You are listening to the Fit Figure Formula podcast. I help female perfectionists beat self-sabotage and lose the weight for good using the Fit Figure Formula coaching program. I'm your host, Stephanie Riles, registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach. If you've been struggling with all or nothing thinking, negative self-talk, or self-sabotage, this is the podcast for you. Learn how to get consistent and become the best version of yourself from the inside out. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to episode 79 of the Fit Figure Formula podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Riles, registered dietitian and mindset transformation coach. Today's episode is going to be the last in a series on self-love. So we've talked about how to love yourself through quality time, how to love yourself through words of affirmation, through acts of service and gifts. And today we're talking about physical touch. So loving yourself through physical touch is all about how you are experiencing yourself in your own skin. A lot of times we will think about this in terms of someone else touching us, right? Because I'm kind of borrowing this from the 5 Love Languages, and it was really talking about how you give and receive love to a partner. But in this instance, I want you to think about how are you experiencing you? How are you experiencing you in your own skin? And that means physical connection with yourself. So we want to be thinking about our physical touch, our emotional feelings, right? So anything that you can feel either physically or emotionally. So physical touch can be how you're carrying yourself, how you care for your body, how you soothe yourself when you are feeling down or frustrated. It's how you move and it's how you rest. So that's kind of how I am framing this. Okay. So it can be all of those things. So we're going to talk about this from a body perspective and an emotional perspective. So did you know that your body posture, your body position, the things that you can do with your body affect your emotions? So for example, when you stand tall in something like the Superwoman pose, right? Superwoman pose is when you are standing upright, your chin is held high, your shoulders are back, your hands are on your hips, and you are exuding and embodying this confident body posture. Did you know that when you do that, there are certain chemicals in your body that are secreted that help you to feel more brave and more confident? This is the power of your body, your mind, your emotions, and how they are all intertwined. So I want you to keep that in mind. What does your body posture say about how you feel? What is that communicating to others? But also, what is that communicating to yourself? Think about someone or even yourself think about someone who is like depressed, for example. They may be in the bed. They may have slumped shoulders. You may have low self-esteem. When you think about the body posture of someone experiencing those things, you think of somebody who maybe has their head held low. They're not smiling. Their shoulders are slumped, right? Think about if you're experiencing depression, low self-esteem, maybe you're insecure about something, your body posture is a little bit different. And whenever let's say you're in that state, but you're trying to put on a brave face for your kids, or maybe you have a speaking engagement, you got to shake it off. Your body posture, your body language, your facial expressions are all different, even if you're trying to hide the anxiety, the depression, the low self-esteem, the insecurity, right? So I want you to really think about that. Your body posture actually can help move you through an emotion or to an emotion. And also when we think about physical touch, we have to include our nervous system. Our nervous system is made up of your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerve endings that innervate through every part of your body. So part of your feeling, whether it's physical or emotional, has a lot to do with your actual nervous system. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So before I get into these really tangible ways that you can start loving yourself through physical touch, I want to invite you to join the Fit Figure Formula. Right now, you can enroll and start your journey of loving yourself through this weight loss journey. Your weight loss journey does not have to be punishment. It does not have to feel hard. It does not have to feel overwhelming. It could be a journey of self-discovery. It could be a journey of self-love. And this is a journey that never ends, right? Loving yourself, like learning how to love yourself better, will never end until we're no longer on this earth. And I would love to be the coach to help you to move through this weight loss journey in a different way this time. And I'd love to help you heal your relationship with food and fitness. So if you have any questions or curiosity about what it's like to coach inside the Fit Figure formula, this is my 16-week macros and mindset program where I help you get fit, mind, and body. I'm with you every single day, walking you through my formula blueprint that will help you get confident about your food, your fitness, and your body. So head to the show notes to apply to work with me. Also, now's a good time to share this episode. So if you have a favorite Fit Figure Formula episode, go ahead and hit the share button. You can share it to your social media or to someone in your circle of friends who might need this message for today. All right, so let's get into how do we love ourselves more through physical touch. So here's a really, really tangible way. And this is something that I did with myself not too long ago. I want you to practice giving your own self a hug. Now, this one's probably the most connected to what we would think loving yourself through physical touch is. And so this is why I'm starting here. So if you take your arms and you wrap them around yourself, and you give yourself a hug. I want you to actually be thinking about your inner child, whether this is your 2-year-old self, maybe your 7-year-old self, your 11-year-old self, your 18-year-old self, like wherever your brain takes you back into your childhood, and give yourself a hug. What did that version of you need to hear? Give yourself a little squeeze. I know it's going to feel weird. I know it's going to feel like, okay, this is awkward. Have you ever tried it? Literally, I want you to try it just for like 1 or 2 minutes and give yourself a real hug and be thinking like that. I think the biggest thing here is like, you need to be thinking about even your current version or a previous version of yourself. If you have a really good imagination, you can think about your future self, but I think that's a little bit more abstract for most people. What did your previous versions need to hear? What do you need to hear now? Give yourself a hug, a squeeze. And something that I said was like, I'm here. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Like reassuring yourself, because literally everything is going to be okay. We all go through hard times. We all go through things. And a lot of times we will just push through it, push past it, keep going, be strong. I don't have time to stop. I don't have time to feel this, right? But think about all the times that you pushed down your feelings when they were trying to express themselves, but you just kept pushing past them. Just take a moment to acknowledge all of your strength, all of the struggle, all of the things that you're proud of yourself for. All of the times that you wanted to give up and didn't, and give yourself a legitimate hug, just like you would a loved one, a friend, your kids, like give them a real hug. Give yourself a hug. Another thing that you can do that's really close to this example is to wrap yourself up in a soft blanket. Bonus points if it's a soft, warming blanket that's maybe weighted and heavy. This is something that literally can help you calm your nervous system. If you're experiencing anxiety, you need some comfort. This might be something that you have to go out and get. I know I definitely need one. I've been meaning to buy one for a very long time, but this is actually one of my favorite things to do, is to wrap up in a soft blanket. I don't have a weighted blanket, but I do have just like a soft blanket, and just like curl up in my bed. Now, we all curl up in our bed, hopefully, right? But I want you to do it with the intention of noticing how comforted you feel, right? Again, it's just paying attention to, I'm doing this with the intention of loving myself and feeling all the sensations, whether it's warmth, whether it's the weight of a blanket, whether it's the fuzziness of the blanket. You can even put like a warm compress or a warm towel over your forehead. You can stroke your scalp or hair, right? These are very tangible things. You can feel this on your skin. Another way to do this also is to be outside and be grounded. So outside with your feet, bare feet, no shoes, but touching the earth, preferably grass, and just being connected to the earth. You can sit or stand, but notice that you are a part of nature. Notice that you have like this vibrating energy in your body. If you look at your hands and kind of just like focus on both of your hands, and you sit still and quiet, you can notice a vibration, and that energy is the same energy that's in the earth, that's in nature. That's if you look at a tree, right? And so again, just noticing that, grounding your body on the earth is another way to really calm your nervous system. This has scientific benefit for your nervous system. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but also using that Superwoman pose, head up, shoulders back, a confident stance. This is another way that you can show yourself or create that feeling of confidence when you walk into a room. This is something that you can use anytime, but think about like when you're nervous, maybe you're giving a speech or a talk, or you need to present something. And I just want you to use your body and your body language to communicate to yourself and others that, hey, I'm confident, I got this. And using your body posture can help you feel more confident and more brave, more loving. If you pay attention to how you feel with the intention of loving yourself through how you're positioning your body. Try it next time you are in this situation. Try it now. Notice how when you actually practice this, the way that other people interact with you also is going to be different. I think it's really interesting that people will look at someone's aura, how they carry themselves, how they treat themselves, and they will treat you accordingly, right? This is so off topic, but I'm going to go here. So I was watching some kind of reel on Facebook, and it was talking about how a man will treat a woman at the level where she treats herself. And I thought that was so interesting, because if you look at, for example, a woman who's very well put together, you can tell that she buys nice things, designer clothes, she has nice handbags, her hair is done, her makeup is done, and she looks really great. And you can tell like, wow, she's really put together. I have seen times and heard men say like, oh, she's out of my league, or I'm intimidated by her, or man, I don't know. She might give me a hard time, just from how she looks and how well you are taking care of yourself. So I know this isn't like true across the board for every single thing, but I'd want you to just notice that example of like, people notice how you take care of yourself and then will treat you accordingly. Now, you might have somebody that tries it, right? Like you might be well put together, and you might have somebody that's going to try you to see like push your boundary, right? But I just want you to notice how you're also communicating to yourself of your own worthiness, your own self-love, by how you take care of yourself as well. So that was a little off topic, but I hope y'all get the point. So loving yourself through movement. This is, again, your body posture, whether you're stretching, doing yoga, lifting weights, right? We're doing different things with our body that have health benefits for our physical body, but also for your mental health. How often do we kind of feel like we're in a funk, but then we go and get a workout in and we feel much better, right? So movement is a way for you to love yourself with your physical body and through physical touch. So you can be stretching, rolling your shoulders back, taking a walk, dancing in your room. It's one of the things I have on my calendar now. And I don't do it every morning, but I love it when I start my morning with a solo dance party. I can listen to whatever music I want to listen to, and I just dance because no one is watching. But it makes me feel amazing. It's one of the things that I did a lot as a kid, but because of the way I grew up with my religion, I wasn't supposed to listen to the radio. I wasn't supposed to listen to secular music or whatever, but I would record the radio on a cassette tape and then like make dances up. So it's so funny. If you follow me on social media, you may know my daughter is a dancer, And I'm like, you got that from your mom, right? Because I loved to dance. I still love to dance. But I wasn't allowed to at that time. So I would kind of have to sneak. But now as an adult, I can dance, and I love that for me. So even just like, me thinking about that and like bringing back those childhood desires, it makes my life feel more fun actually. And I like myself more when I do that. So again, dancing, walking, strength training, doing yoga, taking deep breaths and noticing your breath, having some stillness and some mindfulness, doing some mobility work. So another way that you can do this is also thinking about your sensory experience. So whether it's the fabrics that you're wearing that feel really luxurious on your skin, if it's taking a really slow shower with like really warm water, then that feels really good. Using some hot or warmed up body oil after your shower, letting the sunlight hit your skin and your face, wearing perfume or a scent that makes you feel really powerful. I don't remember the name of it, but I had a perfume that every time I wore this perfume, I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt different. Use your five senses, your sense of smell, touch, taste, hearing to elevate your experience of whatever you're doing, whether it's putting on perfume or putting on like a fragrance onto your sheets at night, right? It doesn't have to be on your body. Getting an actual professional massage. This is something I had a great massage. I think it was about maybe last month. It was so good. And I need another one so badly. But one of the things, and I talk about this on the very first episode, I think, of the Fit Figure Formula podcast. Y'all should definitely check that episode out. I'm talking about how to know if you are a perfectionist in your weight loss journey. I talked about my 40th birthday and how I boohoo cried after a massage because I was holding on to so much stress and so much tension. And while I was in the massage, I could not rest. I was thinking about emails. My brain was racing. And that was like really an indication of like my nervous system was just haywire. And so my brain was just like looping, and I was trying to calm down in the massage. So I started thinking about gratitude, right? Gratitude always puts you in the present moment. It kind of slows things down. It makes this moment enough. You're not worried about the future or thinking too much ahead in your brain. And when I did that, that's when the tears started coming, because I actually stopped. I was actually present in this moment, and I was able to really get into my body and like release in that massage when I focused on gratitude. And I cried the entire day. Literally, I cried the entire day. And my brain was confused because I was like, what is happening? Like, I didn't know why I was crying. My body did though. My body knew why. I had just released so much stress. All right, here's some more like nervous system regulation tools and tips. So I talked about, your breath and focusing on deep breathing. A lot of times we're breathing very shallow, right? We're not actually like getting a full deep breath, but slow breathing. You might place your hand on your stomach and you are focusing on deep, deep breathing, relaxing your jaw, unclenching your fist, relaxing your shoulders, untensing your like stomach area. I tend to do this a lot where like I notice my stomach is always like contracted, like all the time. So letting that go. And even right now I'm doing it and it feels weird because I never do that. Even like rocking back and forth. This is a self-soothing technique where, you can rock back and forth, whether it's side to side, back and forth. You can use your arms to hug yourself if you would like, but just rocking back and forth, or even getting a rocking chair and just rocking yourself. This actually calms your nervous system. And think about it. It's how you put your babies to sleep. You rock them, you pat them, you hug them. If you have ever like swaddled a baby, they like to be swaddled. They like to feel that pressure. It's literally biological. And we all want to feel safe. We want to feel soothed. We want to feel taken care of. And that brings me to my next point too. In terms of physical touch, I want you to think about what you are actually feeling in your body. Like check in with yourself right now. This is another way for you to love yourself through physical touch, because your emotions, instead of ignoring your emotions today, check in and ask yourself, what do I need? How do I feel? And if you can name it, because a lot of times when I ask someone, how do they feel? They will usually tell me what they think instead. Somehow their brain reroutes and they start telling me what they think. And I'm like, okay, name an emotion. You can only say one word, name an emotion. Don't tell me what you think. Tell me what you're feeling. And so that's why a lot of therapists will use like an emotion wheel to help people actually capture, like, what am I actually feeling? And when you can name the feeling that you're feeling, you can actually feel it a little bit deeper, right? Even if it's a negative, quote unquote, feeling, it's like, I can be with my feelings and I don't have to run away from my feelings. I have the capacity to feel the feelings because I know I'm going to be okay anyway. I'm going to be safe. I'm still safe to feel this feeling. So check in with yourself. How do you feel? Can you name the emotion? What would you need to do to shift your emotion into something different or something that you want to feel? I did a podcast episode on negative self-talk and trying on your thoughts like a hat, and then thinking that thought, feeling how that thought makes you feel. And so you can practice that now. If I am thinking to myself, I'm never going to lose this weight. I'm never going to lose this weight. What feeling does that give you? Does it make you feel anxiety? Does it make you feel hopeless? Does it make you feel frustrated? Does it make you feel sad? Right? It's okay to feel those. And when I'm ready to move past that feeling, I'm like, okay, what's another thought that I can get my energy behind that is going to help me feel the way that I need to feel in this moment? It might be that I haven't lost the weight yet, but I'm learning every day how to take better care of myself, right? And so it just cracks open a little bit of hope, a little bit of a solution so that you can workshop and keep going. So how are your thoughts making you feel? When you think about how you think about yourself, what you tell yourself when you go shopping, those thoughts in your brain when you step on the scale, the thoughts in your brain when you try on clothes, when you're getting ready for the shower and you glance over at the mirror, what are those thoughts? And then think about what those thoughts are making you feel, right? And so again, you can feel those not so great feelings, and then you can actually move past them by choosing and learning how to reframe, how to think about the same situation in a different way. This is something that I teach my clients inside the formula, because you don't just want to keep saying, oh, I'm beautiful, or I'm this and I'm that, and you don't believe that, right? So we want to build trust within our body. How would you start to build trust with yourself? How would you start to feel safe with yourself? Are you to be trusted with your own self, with your thoughts, the way you treat yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you carry yourself, right? So I'm going to give you a couple more. Rest as an act of love through physical touch. I want you to give yourself permission to actually rest. Being productive and going 1,000,000 miles an hour every single day is not honoring your humanity. It is not honoring your capacity, and it's not loving. It's not kind, right? You need rest. And that does not mean that you are lazy, inconsistent, or undisciplined. So whether that's going to bed a little bit earlier, whether it is taking some time to unplug and take a nap, whether it's taking a weekend to yourself, give yourself the permission to rest without feeling guilty. This can be physical rest. It can be mental rest. A lot of times, and I do this too, y'all, in my business, I'm thinking, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And it's like, I'm so much more productive when I took a rest. Like this past weekend, there was one day where I didn't really work. And then I came back to work and I was like, oh, I feel so much better. Like I don't have any like resentment, or like I'm not dreading working, because now I have some fresh ideas because I didn't work, which hardly happens, right? Like, so this is something that I can really take to heart of like, you don't have to work every single day. You shouldn't work every single day. Literally, you should rest. So how are you giving yourself rest from thinking, from planning, from having to be on, having to be good, having to be perfect, having to produce? How are you giving yourself rest? Because that is how we burn out. We burn out because we feel like we're robots and we keep pushing harder and harder. How are you resting? Another way to think about physical touch and loving yourself through physical touch is healing. Healing your relationship with food and fitness, healing your relationship with the scale, healing your relationship with weight loss. How would you go about doing that? That is a great place to spend some time thinking about, how can I heal my relationship with food and fitness? Can I stop pinching my problem areas? Can I stop focusing so much on my tummy area that I can't stand? Can I look in the mirror and appreciate my body instead of always criticizing it? Can I give myself more grace? Can I give myself more patience? Can I get curious about my journey, my body, instead of always leading with zero compassion? Because sometimes we think that self-discipline is pushing harder, being really rigid. Actually, it's the opposite. When you are flexible, something that's flexible is actually stronger than something that is very rigid and unforgiving. How are you being flexible with yourself? And here's the last one I'm going to give you. So I've talked a little bit about this on the podcast. I think there's an episode on glowing up. So glow up during your weight loss journey, even before the scale moves, but putting yourself in your feminine energy. So what I realized, I kind of went on what I call a femininity journey, learning like what is femininity and what is feminine energy. So what I learned is that those are two different things, right? So when we think about femininity, we might think about like hair and nails and smelling good and things like that. And those things can be labeled as feminine in the traditional sense. However, those things really just get you to the energy that you want. And so feminine energy is that softness. Feminine energy is receptive. It is calm. It is powerful. It's strength. It's stillness. And something that I have been doing lately, and my son is absolutely hating it. I'm playing this one song over and over and over again. It's called A Woman's Glow. And this song immediately puts me in a softer place. And I don't know what it is about feeling that softer place that makes me feel more connected to myself. So find a song. I will link this song. Okay. I'll link the song in the show notes if you want to hear the song, but it really puts me in my soft place and it makes everything that I'm doing, it kind of helps me be more present. And even through the hard times, it talks about, a woman's tears, but it talks about her power, it talks about, her glow. And I want you to find out, what is it for me that puts me in a soft place? Because in 2026, we are working women, we have kids, we have a lot of stress. We're turning 40 and dealing with menopause, and we just can't deal with as much stress. Our hormones are going up and down, and we're like, what the heck? Why am I so emotional? And being able to be in a soft place and know how to get yourself there is so important. And this song does it for me. Because it's almost like I remember who I am at my core. And I don't know why this song gets me there, but it absolutely does. What is that thing for you, right? So again, we're talking about femininity. It's the little things that you can do, your perfume, your this and that. But really, a lot of times we do that to get us in our feminine energy. And so that's totally fine. You can use a tool, but you can also just pay attention to your own energy. Where am I pushing harder instead of being wise and not just doing more for the sake of doing more, but being more strategic and reserving some of my energy for the most impactful action steps? Where am I giving my power away? Where is my power leaking? Where is there a hole in the bucket and a situation or a person is draining my energy, my softness? How can I patch that up? How can I delete or delegate that person or situation so that I can actually feel in my body the way that I want to feel in my body? As far as we know, we got this one life, right? And so even though we can't eliminate all challenges, we do want to try to handle the challenges better, right? Jim Rohn says, don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills, work for more skills. It's not going to get easier, but you can get better at handling life's challenges. So where would you like to be softer, or And when I say soft, I don't mean weak, right? Soft and weak are not the same thing. Of course, we're strong women, but where do I need to take my power back? Whether it's in a relationship, in your health journey, in your parenting, where do I need to take a different approach? So I encourage you to look this up, like look up more on femininity and feminine energy on YouTube, on TikTok. I learned a whole lot. I'm not super well versed in it to teach, but I do know that there are certain things that I can think about, a song, or certain things that I can do, and certain things that I can remember that like, oh, this puts me in a softer place. I don't want to always have aggressive fixer energy. Like sometimes I just want to sit back and just attract, right? And so again, this is a way for you to feel while you are taking really good care of yourself, while you're losing weight, while you're lowering your A1C, while you're managing your emotional eating. So this all ties back obviously to weight loss and to being in a healthy body, because we want to feel the way we want to feel now. Right? And you have access to that. You have access to feel the way that you want to feel right now. So I would love it if you share this episode. Let me know in the comments if you're on Spotify, what was your favorite moment of this episode? If you're on Apple Podcasts, I would love a 5-star review and let me know your biggest takeaway from this episode. That concludes this series on loving yourself through the 5 love languages. If you missed the previous episodes, definitely go back and listen. Think about where you would like to grow your self-love and start implementing some of the tools and action steps that I have given you in the last few episodes. And if you want help step by step from a registered dietitian and mindset coach on how to love yourself more through your weight loss journey, you want the best strategy for weight loss and also to build a fit mindset, head to the link in the show notes to apply to work with me. So for next month, the theme is consistency. So I'm going to be talking about all things consistency for the next few weeks in March 2026. This is always a really big topic because everyone is like, hey, consistency is key. I'm going to be talking about how you can achieve that, what consistency actually is, how to get back being consistent once you've been off, and many more helpful tips and tricks. So stay tuned to the Fit Figure Formula podcast, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to the Fit Figure Formula podcast. If you're new here and you're struggling with your fitness journey, I invite you to take a super simple next step. Click the link in the show notes for a free training. If listening to this podcast has been helpful, imagine being inside the Formula Coaching Program. You can apply for coaching with the link in the show notes. I hope to see you inside.